Hello everyone, this is Babamots. Welcome to another Homeworlds game commentary. I've got a sore throat today, but it's not going to hold me back. This game is between Amnykon and tseiger. I've introduced both of these players before. Amnykon we see a lot on the channel because they're very good. tseiger we see less often. tseiger's been playing for a very long time and has always been very good as far as I know. This should be a very strong game. Alright, Amnykon starting with a large yellow Gemini system. tseiger with a yellow fortress. Everybody starts building as expected. Amnykon waffling a little on whether to take a little blue. tseiger also takes the blue. And rather than matching the Amnykon's green build, tseiger discovers a small green star with their blue ship. I think that's all right. We'll see where this takes us. Amnykon trades in for red. This isn't a good time for tseiger to get any red. So Amnykon, since tseiger's colony is connected to Amnykon's home, Amnykon may be wanting to move their little red to the colony, threatening to take tseiger's little blue. Let's see if tseiger might decide to trade this for red just for defense, or they might... Okay, they just build a little green at home. They'll probably get red next turn. I don't know. We'll see what they do. Yeah, Amnykon invades. tseiger can trade for red now, but it's a turn too late. That ship will be Amnykon's by next turn. Oops. Well, I guess that's one of the reasons I usually leave my ships at home for a while. I have a tendency to build up everything at home before I try to get every color before I move to a colony. Just about, it seems like. Alright, well, tseiger's at a bit of a disadvantage here. Let's see if they can catch up. Building green, Amnykon builds blue. Alright, so tseiger, if they want blues, they'll have to get in at the medium level or higher. That's looking pretty good for Amnykon. That little slip up for tseiger. Moving out too early might cost them dearly. Alright, tseiger maybe making a play for yellows. Amnykon with more blue. Yeah, I think that's the right call here. tseiger forging ahead with the yellows. I think tseiger might have been better off, especially since Amnykon hasn't bothered to get any yellow ships yet. tseiger may have wanted to trade their large ship for a blue, just so they could not be totally left behind. If they had, back when they had another green ship, they could have traded their G3 for B3, built a blue, and then traded their B3 back for a safer color. And if Amnykon didn't get any yellow in the meantime, then that could have been pretty okay for tseiger. But as it is, they're getting left behind in the blues, and now Amnykon's traded in for yellow. So tseiger needs to split up these yellows at their home. The yellows will open up into the mediums before too long here. Maybe there'll still be a medium blue left by the time that happens. Amnykon spreading out their blues. Amnykon may want to do a shopping spree to make sure tseiger has no chance at the blues. That's sort of an interesting choice. Discovering a medium yellow star. That'll make it so whoever builds yellow next, the other person gets a medium. And depending on how everything else is situated, the person who built the small might get a large yellow, but Amnykon only has one yellow ship, so if they initiate all this, then the small and large they build would have to be at the same place, and tseiger would probably be able to overpopulate. So that seems to me like a good thing for tseiger. since Tseiger has a head start on the yellows, but we shall see. Yeah, I think Tseiger is about to get left far behind in the blues. They build the green. Golly, this might not be as flawless a game as I was hoping for. Yeah, Amnykon does the shopping spree as expected. And Tseiger, guess keep building yellows or greens. Amnykon doesn't have green anymore, so Tseiger could take a green and be a little better off than they were. Yeah, I think the G2 build is pretty good. Amnykon, since they have successfully locked Tseiger out of the blue, they could trade the B3 for G3, for example. Keep alternating between building and trading the larges. Yep, I like that. Tseiger now. They could spread out the greens to keep building. I think that's what I would do. Yeah. And taking a small yellow out of the bank plays into Tseiger's yellow advantage. That seems pretty good. Amnykon, if I had to guess, I'd say they'll keep building and trading the large blues. Yes, they do. Tseiger now actually has a early factory, technically. They could sacrifice the G3 to build 2 greens someplace and then rebuild their G3, but Amnykon might not actually mind throwing away their spare large to catastrophe, wherever Tseiger ends up with 3 greens in that case. Just an ordinary green build. Amnykon trades for large yellow. Tseiger takes one of the large blues out of the bank. Amnykon can still build the other one, though, and they do. Well, they're thinking about it, but they're also thinking about taking that large green out of the bank, which is also a good idea, since otherwise Tseiger will probably build it. Yeah, that's the better idea, I think. This way, Amnykon retains their large blue advantage, their large ship advantage. All right, Tseiger can do a factory build. Sacrifice G3 to build a green somewhere, build a yellow in the Betelgeuse colony, and then rebuild their G3. Because they're not getting their hands on that blue, I don't think. Ordinary build? No, I think they should be building the G2 as well. There it is. Good. And they commit. Amnykon, I would expect to just build that B3. And they do. So, Tseiger's down by 2 large ships now. They have a nice green advantage, but that can only get you so far. What now? I guess start... honestly, Amnykon is soon going to start moving those larges out of their home to start threatening colonies. So Tseiger is going to be want to spread out their ships, stock up on red maybe. Yeah, that's something. That is Tseiger's only large ship, though. Well, it's their only large green, so they may, if Amnykon discovers another large green star, then Tseiger no longer has a factory. Yeah, I'm sure Amnykon won't let tseiger rebuild that G3. Oh, really? That's interesting. They, Amnykon... I wonder if Amnykon saw something I didn't, that they thought they needed another red right away. Interesting. If Amnykon needed more red, I feel like they should have just built it. Well, no, Amnykon will be able to rebuild that B3. For that matter, Amnykon could have built the G3 for themselves. And even if tseiger had sacrificed Y2 to move 2 greens to overpopulate, I think Amnykon is actually still pretty happy with that, since Amnykon has unlimited access to large ships and tseiger doesn't. Tseiger builds the green, okay. So tseiger is now actually not looking too bad. With 2 large ships, you're a lot more secure than with 1. Alright, Amnykon. The obvious thing is just to build that B3 someplace. Alright, tseiger should quite possibly start moving out. Could start spreading out these ships that are kind of in danger of invasion, since these colonies are connected to Amnykon's home. Or tseiger might want to reinforce one of these colonies with their R3. I think I would move the R3 to one of these 2 colonies. And tseiger agrees. Amnykon could threaten the Betelgeuse colony with one of their larges. Or they could trade their B3 for R3 and build the B3 again. Thinking about the threat, and they commit to the threat. So tseiger is probably tempted to move their Y1 into Betelgeuse for the overpopulation, which would knock Amnykon down by a large ship, which seems pretty good, but tseiger is so far down on material, I think they might be better off just running. Although, if both players get knocked down in material, tseiger, with their greens, may have a better chance of building the yellows back up more quickly, although they will have to start by trading back for yellow, where Amnykon has a yellow ship remaining after that overpopulation. We'll see. What do they pick? Thinking about the overpopulation, do they commit? Yes, they do. Alright, well, tseiger has no yellow anymore, so Amnykon might get it back faster. We will see. Oh, tseiger moving a blue, or sorry, Amnykon moving Amnykon moves blue to tseiger's home. Yeah, they can get the 1 star. Oh, you know what else that does? That makes it difficult. So Amnykon will be able to successfully destroy tseiger's blue star here. Amnykon doesn't have enough yellow to blow up tseiger's other star, but with that lack of blue, it will be harder for tseiger to get into the blue or yellow economy. The only blue they'll still have access to is here in Electra. So I think that invasion was actually pretty reasonable for that reason. But Amnykon maybe decides it's too early. Building G1, trading for Y3. Yep, that's pretty reasonable, oddly enough. Tseiger trades for yellow. Amnykon can build blue again, and they do. Tseiger, I guess they can factory. Well, no, because they would end up with greens Their greens would be too concentrated, and Amnykon could actually move in their green ship for an overpopulation wherever Seeger ended up with 3, so they don't want to. This is interesting. Threatening a couple of blues at a colony. It would be really nice for Seeger to get into the blues. And if Amnykon doesn't sacrifice their Y2 to get both of them out of there, then Seeger could succeed in getting a blue here. Amnykon thinking about a counter threat or sacrificing one blue to do it a couple of trades. Yep, that's another way to keep blue out of your opponent's hands. Sacrifice and trade him away. Seeger does have a medium ship at a blue colony, so Seeger could get a blue ship, but it's one that could be immediately threatened. I don't actually like this move overall very much for Amnykon, both because Seeger can get that blue, which they could then proceed to use in other places and ways, potentially. Maybe even sacrificing that blue to trade their R3 for B3. But even more than that, this has left Amnykon, they've traded away their own, all but one of their red ships. So I think Amnykon should take that back and do things a little different. Okay, sacrifice B2, trade for an R1 and a B1. Thinking about a few different things here. Oh, Amnykon's actually going to let Seeger get away with a B1 capture. Interesting. Yeah, I think Seeger should take that. Anything to keep Amnykon from continuing to trade and build the B3s. Okay. Amnykon now thinking it's time to start moving in. Amnykon doesn't have enough yellow for the to finish this off. So there might be some kind of play for Seeger here, but I probably won't be able to find it in time. Seeger, I think, is most likely to just capture that blue, since otherwise Amnykon can be a pretty big pain by capturing Seeger's R1 at home. Oh, Seeger's maybe seeing something, sacrificing the G2 to build some yellows. It's a very tempting option, since if there's no yellow, then Amnykon can't get enough yellow to finish off Seeger's home. Seeger decides to just capture the invader, though. So Amnykon moves in a large. And pretty sure Seeger has to capture this or they're in big trouble. And Amnykon now moves in the last blue for a catastrophe. Okay, so what's happened? Blue is no longer the hard-locked color that it was a moment ago. Amnykon's thrown the doors of blue wide open. Amnykon would like to finish off Seeger's yellow star, but doesn't have enough yellow. And Seeger could do as they were thinking before, polishing off the yellow economy to keep the yellow out of Amnykon's hands, but Amnykon could overpopulate and refilling the yellow bank would let Amnykon rebuild and probably win before too long. One other minor effect is that Seeger's home is now connected to medium stars like Castor. Don't know if that'll come into play, though. Seeger sacrificing G2 to build yellow-blue. So those two blues outside of Amnykon's home are a threat to Amnykon's blue star, at least. Amnykon leaves that blue in place. I think Amnykon is going to want to threaten... Well... Okay, this has gotten... I was afraid for a while that this was going to be a total blowout from Amnykon, but now I think tseiger has a fighting chance at least. It's 3 large ships to 2. And Amnykon will have to rearrange a bit before building more yellow. Well, maybe maybe it's not as close as I think. Okay, yeah, it's Amnykon's turn right now. If they just move one of their yellows somewhere secure and prepare to build, tseiger, I think, will be forced to discover the other yellow as a star. I don't know. Well, let's see what Amnykon does. They're thinking about splitting up the yellows like I thought. That seems quite good, because if Amnykon gets that last yellow ship, they'll have enough for the overpopulation at tseiger's home, and there's really not going to be any stopping them. They can move them in one at a time like they did with the blues. So tseiger really has to keep that other yellow out of their hands. They could trade B1 for Y1. They could discover a yellow star. They could even build the yellow in Electra, but I think then Amnykon would overpopulate it, and that'll make the yellows very available again. So that's probably not best. Oh, I don't like the counterattack. I think it's too early to go for the blues here, because tseiger's not going to have an any easier time getting yellow than Amnykon is. Oh, really? Amnykon thinking about just retreating with the blues rather than... Well, I guess, yeah, if Amnykon attacks, then if Amnykon captures that little blue, tseiger still just moves in the other one for the catastrophe. I think, honestly, those blues are not that big of a threat, and Amnykon should instead be ignoring that threat, get that last little yellow. If they build that last little yellow in Altair instead, I think they've won. But Amnykon takes the retreat. Okay, tseiger now could, for example, they can either move the little blue in, or they could sacrifice a green to build it. I don't think they want to do that, actually, since that will either leave their home without a green, or it'll put a yellow back in the bank. I guess they could sacrifice the G1 to just build one blue. Let's see what they pick. Oh, gee, that puts a yellow back in the bank. I think that's fatal. I think Amnykon will have no problem building that little yellow now. Although I think it's safer to build it in Altair, since Hadar could be threatened. Yeah, build it in Altair, or build both. What the heck? Yeah, that's the move I would make. All right. tseiger now. My guess is that tseiger will push ahead with their plan to overpopulate Amnykon's blue star, but I think tseiger actually should... they need to do something pretty desperate. I think moving yellows into Altair. Move one of the yellows into Altair in hopes of either capturing one of these or overpopulating the yellows. Because otherwise, I think Amnykon just starts slow pushing the yellows and wins. Secret gets one of the yellows out of the bank, but it's not enough. Amnykon can slow push these. Yeah, they do. Tseiger captures. Amnykon moves in the large. Oh. Well now. It's an interesting idea, but I don't think it's enough. So tseiger decreased the yellow concentration by sacrificing the little yellow and bringing back reinforcements. The problem with this is Amnykon still can capture. They sacrifice the R3 to capture all of tseiger's red and one of their other larges. So if Amnykon had any less red power, this would be looking better. Well, or if tseiger had some more red somewhere else. Yeah, if tseiger had like an R2 someplace, then this could be looking okay. But they don't. Yeah, Amnykon's turn. They're going to take all the red. Oh, they don't, I guess they don't even need to take all the red since the little red can't capture back. All right, and tseiger ends the game on a more satisfying note by successfully destroying Amnykon's blue star. Amnykon chooses the less obvious win. Rather than capturing the little red, they build some more for a catastrophe. And game goes to Amnykon. Well, it got closer by the end. That very early slip up from tseiger cost them control of the blues, which Amnykon mostly rode painlessly to victory, but tseiger had a few fighting moments in there that were fun to watch. And some things to learn. Definitely watch out for getting locked out of a color, and when the universe is small like this, be very, very careful when you move out, especially if you don't have access to red yet. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.